am Jean Pemberton-Jones, E.Jean Pemberton-Jones. I'm going to put the E in front of it because it's there for a reason. And I'm the founder of SmartPreneurs Like You. I have next to me a wonderful person, a longtime friend who happens to be on the cover of my, let me turn the book right side up, my first book that I've actually published. It's not my first publishing, but it is my first book. Her name is Faye Hill. She is the founder of Faye Hill and Associates. And so before I just hold a conversation with her, I just wanted to first thank everybody who is in this first book. I had an opportunity to speak with my sister a couple of weeks ago, Rita, and her son, who is in the upcoming book, SmartPreneurs Like You, the dad edition. And so, but the women who just allowed me to be able to celebrate their success and to share their journey in my first book, I want to personally say thank you, Faye.
You're welcome.
Yes.
You're so welcome.
Okay, so we have a long history.
We do.
Since as an adult, when I was a member at Friendship West Baptist Church is where I first met you.
Yes.
Yes, and she welcomed me in. You were part of First Friends, right?
I was decision counselors.
Decision counselors.
Yes.
Yes. And so got a chance to become very, very close. She and I, along with her family, and since then we have been just wonderful friends ever since.
We have.
Yes, especially from the entrepreneur perspective.
Yes, what a blessing.
All right. Yeah, it has been. So I want to do this. We of course have questions in the book, and I want to use some of these questions, and if you can just expound on some of your answers that you provided to the readers. And we're going to just give a snapshot of it. Of course, if you want to hear the in-depth details about Faye's journey, my recommendation is you go to our book store, which is Indus Boutique. That's right. You can go to the website. You can also go to Amazon.com and purchase this book. But if you come physically to our bookstore, we have it on sale for $6. But you can purchase it as a paperback as well as you can download it as an ebook. So let's go ahead and get started with the interview. Let's talk a little bit about Faye Hill. So tell us who you are, where you're from, your mom and them, your daddy and them, sisters and them, and all that.
Okay. First of all, let me say it is a pleasure and a privilege to be included in your first book and to be included in your life as your friend. We have had a great relationship. Yes. And it's one of the relationships that I cherish. It really is. And my name is Faye Hill. My business is Faye Hill and Associates. I am from the state of Washington, born and raised, moved to Dallas in 1984 because both of my sisters lived here. And then from that point, I moved to Los Angeles, Atlanta, back to Dallas, Miami, and back to Dallas one more time. And so I think I'll be here for the duration.
Right.
I'm in Dallas now.
Yes.
I have 2 children, a son and a daughter, and both of my sisters live here in Dallas as well.
Mm-hmm. Very good. And so tell me what made you decide to become an entrepreneur? What set the stage for that?
I grew up in a household, both of my parents were entrepreneurs.
Yes.
My mother owned a beauty salon. My father owned a painting company. And so I grew up with the mentality that entrepreneurship was just kind of a way of life in my household. Not really expecting that I was going to do that. I went to school, went to Washington State University, and in my 3rd year, my mother decided that she wanted to retire from her business and wanted me to take over her beauty salon.
Oh, wow.
So she asked, do you want to take over the business? And if you do, you're going to need to go to beauty school or cosmetology school, and the business is yours. So I did. I went to school, got licensed, and moved back to the city where my mom had the salon and took over her business.
Right.
So at that point, I really didn't know that I was going to continue to have my own business forever and ever. I left the beauty business and moved to Dallas.
Okay.
leaving Washington, moving to Dallas, and went back into corporate America, worked for corporate America for years, for a long time. That's how I lived so many cities. I transferred to different cities. And then when I came back to Dallas, the last time I went to my church and felt like there was something missing
Right.
in the church as far as customer service, hospitality.
Right.
It just seemed to be lacking. And so I went to the facilities manager and said, you need to get some training for your staff. And he said, find a place for me to take them. And I couldn't find anywhere.
Right.
There was like nothing for churches.
Right.
Corporate America has all kinds of customer service training, but churches didn't have anything. And so I decided I'm going to do this myself.
Right.
And that's how Faye and Associates was born back in 2002. And I just began putting it together.
Right.
Actually, you helped.
Yes.
We went to Houston and trained the church in Houston.
Yes.
So it was a blessing. I was able to train the majority of the mega churches in Dallas at that time. I was able to go in and train the staff.
Right.
And today I feel real good about that because a lot of those churches still use some of the things that we put in place when we did our training.
Right. Yeah. And interesting enough, customer service, you would think that would be natural for staff in church. You would think. So not always. And sometimes people just don't understand what that entails. They look for it from a perspective of receiving it, but they struggle in replicating that when it means for them to present that for themselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and it's a process, especially if it's not natural, for people and church people. And I grew up in the church, so I'm not a hater. I'm a PK and I'm a minister, licensed and ordained. But I would say this: sometimes we can be so about the spiritual that we lack the know-how as relates to I'm dealing with you from physically. Let's speak to each other. Let's have that kind of respect. Let's have that moment of endearment and connection. And they don't know how to do that piece.
Well, unfortunately, churches don't consider themselves a business.
Yeah.
And the business world tends to get it a lot better than the church does when it comes to that's what sets you apart from the churches down the street. How you're treated inside and the way people feel when they come inside the church is what makes them want to come back. Right. So training is one of the things that's real important when people, they're trained on their jobs. Right. And so this is a job that also, as far as one of the things I used to say is that it's God's business and we don't want to lose God's customers.
Yeah. That's a good way of looking at it. So I'm with Faye Hill of Faye Hill and Associates. She is on the cover of my first book, SmartPreneurs Like You, and it is the Women'spreneurs edition. And we're talking about her business, which is a business that provides customer service training to churches, small or large. So that's right. You may have a small church, but it doesn't matter what size. All churches should provide excellent customer service. So now let's just talk about the concept of entrepreneurship, because people have started their business. They saw a need and said, hey, I can provide that need. Whereas whether it's through products, whether it's through services. So your journey as an entrepreneur, starting off, was it tough? Was it difficult? What challenging moments or struggles did you have back in 2002 versus 2019? Because it's been a while now that you started your business and been in business for yourself.
It has. And my business now is kind of twofold. I do customer service training for churches, but I also do social media for businesses. Right. And that came about, somebody saw my video with the customer service training and kind of introduced me to the National Seminars group, and they asked if I wanted to train on social media, which I knew nothing about at the time. So here's my opinion is that it needs to be something that you're passionate about first. Yes. It needs to be something that is not like work. Right. It's something that you enjoy doing. Right. I'm very passionate about excellence and about portraying whatever you represent
Right.
in a way that sets you apart from everybody else.
Right.
So it was easy for me to train in that area because
Right.
it's something that is real important to me.
Right.
So when that comes across, then people want to utilize your service if
Absolutely.
they feel it's something that you're going to give them.
And you're
your
excited
best.
about it. I mean, you can't say, I have my own business, but you lack your own enthusiasm about your own
Exactly.
services. You ought to be
Exactly.
excited about what you do and what you provide to, and confidence is important. I mean, why would I want to use you if you lack the confidence of your own service, of your own ability, and your own company?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So with the social media, it didn't go as well as it did with the church training. I didn't know anything about social media.
Okay.
I thought I did. I thought, how hard can that be? Facebook? I mean, what do? You post some stuff, and
Right.
you know, I really had no idea. So when I first went on the road, and I've trained social media in about 85 cities in
Wow.
the United States.
Okay.
Working for National Seminars Group, I would do 5 cities a week,
Wow.
and a whole day, 8-hour class. And that came about with me developing a class
Mhm.
through training and learning about social media that
Right.
I could make it worth their while.
Right.
In the beginning, it wasn't worth their while to
Right.
come to my class because I really didn't know
Right.
what I was doing.
Right.
So that's the flip side of when you know what you're training in
Mhm.
and you're passionate about it
Right.
versus when you don't know, but you still kind of have a little interest or
Right.
a passion about it.
Right.
And what happened was I became passionate about what social media can do for businesses.
Right.
Because I could give people the information they needed
Mhm.
to take their business to another level through
Right.
social media.
Right, right.
And that's what I do today.
Yes.
The majority of my business is doing social media
Yes.
management for some large companies here in Dallas.
Now, one of the things that you, and those of you who are listening to us that is looking to start your business or you've been in a business for a while is the evolution of an entrepreneur. And that's important to understand. To me, once an entrepreneur, always an entrepreneur. And it's not a part-time job or a full-time job, it's a lifestyle. I preach that. I read that as a quote somewhere, I can't remember, but I've used that statement to everybody, especially in my classes, is once an entrepreneur, always an entrepreneur. But in order to be successful, you have to be willing to evolve. And you have to look at, like in 2002, you saw the need, it was with churches. But as you evolved, social media became a huge banner, which is important for people to know because, basically 10 years ago, social media wasn't, 15 years ago,
wasn't.
but today, to do something and to have anything and not to be on social media, I'm not saying you can't be successful, but it is very difficult.
It's very difficult.
Yes.
And for young business owners or people starting out in business, they think they know what is necessary to do on social media because it seems kind of logical.
Because
but
they're always
it's really not.
posting, yes.
Always posting, but what are you posting about?
Right,
Yeah. And unfortunately, shouldn't be about your business
right.
all the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
What should it be about?
So
Go to
as-
your website, contact Faye.
you can do that.
Get your consultation done.
It's not what you think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
and
absolutely
once you
right.
know the way to approach it and what you need to be putting on your page, then all of a sudden you see a huge difference.
Yeah.
Social media is social,
Yes,
and people are there to be entertained.
yes,
They're not there to be sold to.
right.
So
Right.
it's a strategy.
Yeah. No, and you're right. Those who have the largest followers literally are entertaining. They're connecting to the people and connecting to their emotions,
Exactly.
those types of things. And then from there, you see other results and stuff like that happens. But you're so correct on that.
And one thing that people don't realize is Facebook is in total control when we're talking about Facebook of
Yes.
who sees what you're posting.
Right.
So if you post something that nobody's liking, it's just kind of sitting there, you're not getting any comments on
Mhm.
it, it's not going out into the news feed for anybody to see. So you wonder, now how come nobody's liking that? And it's because the content isn't getting the comments or sharing or
Okay.
so
Yeah.
Facebook controls who sees it.
There it is. Now that's why you need to get a website as well, and get on Google as well. Google. So you probably want to have a multi-platform as it relates to exposing your business.
You do.
Okay.
You need it for your SEO or for
Okay.
your Google juice, for
Right.
people to find you.
Right.
When they're looking for you, your website is kind of the window into your home.
Yes.
It's where people see what it is you have to offer.
Right.
And social media is just kind of a tool
Okay.
to use to point people to what your website and what your offer, your product is.
Right. So just as an entrepreneur and someone specifically with your business, you would recommend not only having social media, but also using the Googles and the websites.
It's imperative.
It's
Yeah.
imperative.
Yeah, it really
All right.
is.
So let's get back to the entrepreneur, Faye Hill.
Okay.
All right. Your goals, your ultimate goals as an entrepreneur. What would you like to see as relates to your business impacting your community?
It's funny that you would say that because as we speak, I am revamping Faye Hill and Associates to meet the needs of the in the church, in particular, the lack of attendance. So you have to stay, in my opinion, you need to stay focused on the change that's taking place.
Mm-hmm.
So if I saw there was no customer service, and customer service was not saying that it's changed, it needs help.
Right.
But then people quit going to church because they're watching it at home.
Yes.
You can watch it on Facebook
Right.
Live. You can watch streaming on the website.
Right.
And when you don't feel like going into the church itself, it's real easy to stay at home, which means that the pastors are preaching to empty pews, and it's kind of like a cycle. They're not real excited about an empty church.
Right.
And it's just where we're at today. And I believe that there are a lot of things that can be done, that can be focused on, that can bring people back inside.
Yeah.
Forsake ye not the assembling is
Right.
important.
Yeah.
And why is it important? People don't understand, well, why do I need to be at
Right.
the church? So to get back to your question, we need to sometimes change our focus on our business
Okay.
according to what's going on in
Mhm.
our communities.
Right.
For a business like mine, it's about assisting,
Mhm.
helping, coaching,
Yes.
showing people what they can do to be better.
Right.
Yeah, and to be excellent.
Right.
Yeah, so it's not just an act, but it's a habit.
Okay. I like that. It's not just an act, but a habit. Do you believe that it's important as an entrepreneur to have a mentor? And if so, do you have a mentor?
It's real important to have a mentor. I do. Not just one. I have a few.
Okay.
I would even say you're actually one of them.
Oh my. Hopefully I'm doing a pretty good job.
No, you're doing an excellent job. And that's because sometimes we lack in areas, we're so busy, everything is so moving around, doing our
Right.
own thing, and then we look back and say, oh, I was going to do that, and I really did not do that. And why didn't I do that? And sometimes the things that we lack, we can see positive in someone else.
Right.
So not only can we mentor and give advice, especially to younger people coming up today
Mhm.
that want to be business owners and want to be entrepreneurs, it's important to give them kind of a blueprint
Yes.
so you can see where it is that you need to go, how do you start, and how
Right.
do you get there.
Right.
So there are a lot of things that you do that I just admire so much, and you may not be saying, Faye, this is what you need to do, but I might be watching you
Right.
and retaining what it is that I see you doing.
Right.
And so in that respect, I would say that you're an excellent mentor.
Oh my. Thank that. I didn't know. I didn't pay her for that, so I'm going to have
Not
to.
at all, not at all.
So now, as an entrepreneur, and I'll say this, the key thing when you do your own business, you also should give back to the community. Philanthropy is important.
Sure.
Okay. And so for you, what cause or what organization do you support as it relates to an organization that changes and impacts the community from that perspective of nonprofits?
There are a couple. And yours is going to be the one that I go way, way, way back
Yes.
with. I've been very fortunate to be on your board of directors
Right.
for many years, and all of the different arenas that your business handles and helps and shows is just a great example of what a business can do in the community. You know, helping people get their GEDs and
Mhm.
having an education piece is real important.
Right.
And just reaching out to the incarcerated.
Yeah.
You know, another real
Yes.
important area that you touch on. So the things that you're involved with in another business, you need to be passionate about as well.
Right.
So if you weren't doing things that I didn't, you know, feel passionate about, I couldn't do a lot of good for you on sitting on your
Yes.
board or giving my time and efforts. There's another business called Black Women in Business that I was the
Yes.
actual first person to join that business in the Dallas Metroplex area. I was.
Yes.
And that's another business that she's doing a wonderful job. She has chapters all over the state of Texas, and it's a good place to network and hear about what other people are doing, and kind of reach out to other business owners. And it's another. I did for a while was her director of social media,
Right.
and that was another area where I could give back.
Yes.
You know, and give information and give back
Yes.
for helping the business get
Right.
off the ground.
So for those who are watching us and they've been in business for a while, or they're looking to start a business, or maybe do an evolving, you know, a re-image of themselves in their business, what tips or words would you share with them that would be important for them as they prepare to take that next step or go through a new lane of entrepreneurship?
I think the first thing that's real important is to have a good grasp on what it is that you want to do and what you want to accomplish, and then put that down on paper and get together a good business plan.
Yeah.
We
like that.
overlook.
We do.
We think, oh, I have this great idea and nobody else is doing it, and I'm just going to, you know, jump out there. But if you don't have a business plan, and if you don't plan to where the goal is and where you're trying to accomplish and where you're trying to go, it kind of falls through the cracks, and then you wonder, where did I go wrong? And you have to go all the way back and start over
Yes.
again with the business plan.
Right.
So I would say the first thing you need to do is put together a good business plan, a budget.
Yes.
I always say to people, they come to me, can you do my social media? Can you, and I'll say, what's your budget for your marketing?
I said the same thing. What's your budget? I don't have one.
Yeah, I don't
Why
have
not?
a business budget. And I said, well, I'm not into
Yes.
taking people's bill money,
Right.
you know? So,
Right.
because a lot of times people think, well, I can just take some of my money and put it over here, but you need to have a plan, you
Right.
need to have a budget, and you don't want to have to fall off the wagon real quick because you can't afford to do,
Yes.
you know, bring anybody else in. So
Yes.
marketing is key. Most businesses fail due to lack of marketing.
Right.
So that's one thing, marketing, business plan, and then getting a good mentor.
Yes. Well, that's wonderful. Thank you, Faye. Faye's joined us, and of course, she is the founder of Faye Hill and Associates. She is one of the 6 women who is in my first book. I'm the 7th one, so there's 7 of us. And we're going to be following all of these ladies throughout the year, and have a follow-up next year around Mother's Day, just to
Yay.
see where are they now, and to help to encourage you all, because, you know, there is important to take small steps so that you can see that even though maybe I didn't get everything accomplished that I set to do so, at least look back last year and say, I've done something different.
Right.
You know, that's important. And each time I start the year, I say, okay, I'm going to make this mark. You know, and for me, May is always important for me to make a mark. I'll say that. And probably because I'm in education, I'm a student,
Right.
and that's the time of graduation. So I like to
Right.
be in that culture environment. But you got to decide what is going to be your month in that year that's going to be something I've accomplished, to set a time, you know, for accomplishing it. It could be at the end of the year. It doesn't matter what time of the year is, but I would recommend, as an entrepreneur, because somebody was asking me that, how do you get these things to accomplish? And I look for May to be my month of accomplishment, and June to say, okay, I'm wrapping up the year. July is the beginning of my new fiscal year. That's how I do it. So July starts it up, and my mind is there, and the fall is around the corner. So it's around, again, school, football season,
That's a great idea.
and fall and stuff like that. So you can just do that, and plus funding impacts that too.
All right.
Like you said, putting together a plan. funding is important. If you're looking to get funding, if you're looking to get support from the community, you've always got to think about the seasons and the time of funding as well.
Right, right.
And then, of course, for social media. So you have your business, you need to get into the social media aspect, and you don't have time for that. So if you don't have time for that, which you probably do not, Faye Hill and Associates is here. She is reasonable. She does an outstanding job, an amazing job, in that I've had moments of stalemates, and she's put in my ear, okay, you need to do this, I'm looking at your page, you need to do that, and I'll just listen and take heed, and there it is. Much better job for me, and my responses on social media.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you, Miss Faye. Tell them how can they contact you?
You can reach me at, my email is faye@faye-hill.com. My website is faye-hill.com, and I'm on social media. My platform of choice is LinkedIn because it is more for business to business. So you can reach me on LinkedIn also at Faye Hill.
Fantastic.